The holiday season is upon us, and it's a great time to think about how we can give back to others.
How about a quilt? 3-yard quilts are fast, easy, and beautiful. Perfect for charity quilts. Let us share some of our favorites with you.
Hi, it's Donna Robertson
and Fran Morgan with Fabric Café.
So many of our wonderful quilters out there have told us that they love to use 3-yard quilts for charity quilts because they're so easy and fast to make.
We wanted to take a minute and share some of our favorite patterns to make for children's charity quilts. Plus, we have some special guests who will give you some great ideas on organizations to donate to. Let's check out the first one. Now this is our Topsy Turvey quilt from our Quilts for Kids book. It is 46.5 inches by 53 inches big. Now Topsy Turvey is a 1-block quilt, which makes it really easy. You know how we love those 1 blocks. It is a very, very simple block. So we've just got it right here. So we have a little bit of our focus fabric in this big piece, a little bit of our number 3 in this, and it just kind of borders it on 2 sides. We're gonna crop this out of the table so you'll see exactly how it's made. Now, another thing about this quilt that I love, it has 5 borders. But the way we've done the borders is we have our 3 and 2 fabric here, a nice bit of our focus fabric, and then we repeat that 2 and 3 fabric on the outside. Now, if you want to adjust the size of this quilt, it would be really easy just to remove a border and make it a different size. It would be so simple. So let's get this on the table. We'll get that cropping tool out and talk about this block. Now we have Topsy Turvey on the table, and this is such an easy pattern to put together. So let me show you how this block is made because it's super simple. First, I'm going to show you the outer perimeters of the block just so that you can get a concept in your head. So basically this is made with 2 strip assemblies. They're both very simple. This is our first assembly. We have a nice wide strip here of our focus fabric with our number 2 sewn on top. And of course we just sew long strips together and cut those off. So it goes so fast. Then on the side of this we have another strip assembly. So we have our number 2 here, just that nice wide strip with our number 3 sewn on those long edges. Cut off a little sliver there, and then we're gonna sew it to the first strip assembly piece.
That's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple. And what's really cool is this is a 1-block quilt, so you're just gonna keep making those. Then you're gonna take them and just turn them different directions according to the assembly diagram, and it's gonna make this really fun, cool quilt.
How fast is that?
So fast, so fast. Now, we have the most adorable fabric. I cannot wait to share this with everybody.
Total agreement, it's precious.
Oh my goodness, it is so cute. Now let's talk a minute about fabric selection in a 3-yard quilt because it's so easy. So we have this adorable hedgehog fabric here. This is our fabric number 1. And for the Topsy Turvey pattern, we want to use a tossed print. Now what a tossed print means is that the little hedgehogs go all different directions, so there's not a true upside right or upside down. Does that make sense?
Right.
All right, we're gonna take our number 1 fabric out of the equation. We're just gonna remove that. We're definitely using that. We love it, it's so much fun. Then we're gonna pick 2 more fabrics to go with it, to coordinate. So we're gonna have a light fabric and a dark fabric. The lightest fabric of these 2 will be your number 2 fabric, that number 2 position. And here we have it, and it's where the white is here. It's gonna border that really sweet number 1 hedgehog fabric in this gray area, and then number 2 here. The darkest of the 2 remaining, we chose a dark green with some really fun butterflies on it. That is going to be everywhere the yellow is shown here. And that is the darkest of the 2 remaining.
That's gonna look so good.
So this makes it very simple whenever you're pulling quilts together for charity to pull things either out of your stash or if you're shopping and you need that 1-yard cut, makes it so fast. Or if you just want to get a kit like this darling hedgehog kit here. It's so
It's adorable, I love it.
I love too that number 1 fabric has a nice wide moment on the border. So that you really see all of those sweet hedgehogs on there. They're darling, they're holding mushrooms, they're hugging, they're all together, and it's just so sweet. It's a calming color palette, I think, but still very playful.
It's kind of that organic, earthy kind of colors that you like so much.
It's so sweet. All right, let me get you the kit info on this. It is called Hedgehugs, and it's our Topsy-Turvey pattern from the Quilts for Kids book.
Now this quilt is called Big Picture, and it's a 50 by 50. And talk about easy. This pattern is perfect to show off a big print right here in the center. How's that for a big block? No more sewing now on that little center part. We have a simple pieced border that's made with strip assembly units, and they're just joined end to end to create this great checkerboard effect around the outside edge. Now let's put it on the table and check out some fun fabric that we have for it. This fabric is so perfect. Let me tell you why. It is so cool. It's perfect for this big square that we're going to put in the middle. It's reminiscent of those children's rugs that have roads and buildings. And you know, I can still remember when John and Fran used to drive those little cars around on things on the floor, you know. Yep. They would make their own roads if they had to, but we're going to make it where they can not only cuddle up with a rug, with a quilt, they can also have an interactive time playing with their little cars on it. So we're going to put that in the center, and you're cutting one great big square, and wow,
That's
you got
fast.
a lot of the quilt done already. The number 2 fabric adds that light blue that kind of mimics the colors in the background on the windows and the playground and things like that. And it just kind of brightens it up a little bit. Now that number 2 fabric is going to go everywhere you see the green on this quilt. And then we wanted to keep the blue family going, and so we picked a blue dot. It's very small, so it's almost going to just read like a texture, almost a solid, because but it's got that texture in there, because there's also a little bit of mottled color in the background of that as well.
It's very nice, very pleasing.
Yeah, that's going to go everywhere you see here, as well as in these squares. And as we said, this border is super easy to do too, because we're going to be doing strip pieces.
Yes.
So this quilt is going to go together fast. So cute.
It is so much fun, and I see what you mean. I'm sure that a little one would take their cars and go all over the surface of it. I think it would be so cute. And I think it just works so well in the center of this.
It does.
Because it looks like a little village.
Yeah, and it's almost like a storybook village.
Yeah.
You know, I can see the little schoolhouse on it and all the little row houses and the kids running and playing. It is so precious. I love the way it turned out. And this kit is called Happy Town, and it's the Big Picture pattern from Quilts for Kids. You know, there's so many great organizations out there that you can donate quilts to. And today we want to highlight a couple of those organizations.
We have some great videos to share with you about what makes these organizations great.
Let's start with My Very Own Blanket.
My name is Jessica Rudolph. I am founder of My Very Own Blanket. I started this 26 years ago. At the time, I had 3 babies, and I could not hold them all as they were falling asleep. So what I did is I made a nursery, and I sat in a rocking chair so that they could see my presence. And I was knitting a blanket. One night, I thought to myself, who could I give this blanket to? And I thought, all of a sudden, I could knit this for a child in foster care, because I had always heard that they didn't have very much. And so I thought, that's a great idea. I'll just knit a couple rows over the course of the next year. And I thought, next Christmas, I'll give it away to the Area County Children's Services. And I thought, what if I ask other people to help me do this? So I sent out a letter and just asking people to help me make one blanket over the course of the next year, because I said, we're all very busy. I knew I was busy. I said, if we all do just a little bit, then together we can accomplish a lot. And so that's how I got started. 26 years later, these blankets and these quilts and these handmade creations that are so beautiful, they're still free to them, and they don't have to fill out any paperwork to receive them. We just give them to them. Another proud moment that I have is seeing all the volunteers that are being able to get involved and help us give love and hope where love and hope is so needed. The community can get involved in a way that they can share their time and their talents. Keep making blankets, keep making quilts. If you don't know how to sew, knit, or crochet, then you can make a no-sew fleece blanket. There's so many ways that you can get involved to make a blanket, help us spread the word, or you can make a donation. We're a charity, and we always are needing support with financial help. What I would share with a child or teenager in foster care is to never give up, to always have hope. Life is tough, but we persevere. There are people who love them, who think that they are wonderful, and that's what we want to show and give to you through these blankets and these quilts. You are light in this world that you can give to others.
Jessica, thank you so much for all of the work you do for the children in need. If you would like to learn more about My Very Own Blanket, then be sure to check out their link in the video description. Now this is our Sweet Times quilt, and it is 49 inches by 62. That's a really nice size. And this is a 1-block quilt, and it's going to be so fast and easy to put together. We have a big block here that is bordered with our number 3 fabric. This space can take a directional fabric. Now we're making the same block again, but we've simply bordered it with our number 2 fabric. So you're basically doing the exact same block, just in 2 different colorways. So it's going to be super easy, it's going to go fast. And this is really a nice size block, so it's going to come together quickly. Now I like the way, because they're bordered with the 2 and the 3 and they're alternated the way they are, it really gives this great 3D effect just by placing your colors. Now what's really cool about this too, think about this. What if you use scraps in these border pieces for your blocks? As long as you keep like all of the dark values in the number 3 position, all the light values in the number 2 position, it's going to keep that really fun 3D effect, and it's going to give you a really great scrappy quilt that you can use up all those little bits and pieces that you have. You know, when we were pulling this together, we were trying to make sure that we pulled fabrics that would appeal to a large range of ages, so that if you were wanting to do a quilt for an older boy or girl, like a teenager or even a younger one, that you have lots to choose from. And I think these mermaids could go so many different directions. I think the younger girls would love it, and some of the older little girls would love it, like
I
us. Like it. So, and this mermaid is so sweet, and I love how it has all the fish and the coral, and the mermaid is just beautiful, and there's so many colors in this. And this is a directional fabric, meaning that there is a definite direction to it. It's going to work perfect in Sweet Times in this great big block here, so you can really see underwater scene that's going on with that beautiful mermaid. Now we pulled a number 2 in, which is pink, which only makes sense, right?
Right.
Because there's lots of pink accents in our focus, and I think it really goes together nice. Now our number 2 is bordering every other block. So everywhere you see the purple here is where the pink will be. And then of course, you know, the next natural color for those girls in your life is purple. And there's little hints of purple in this, and we think this helps to pull it out. That's going to be our number 3 fabric, and it borders every other block as well as a little bit on the border and the binding there. I love it because it helps the focus fabric really pop. It's bordered simply so that your focus stays on the focus.
I really like that too. And it's really fun the way that you have your 2 different colors bordering the print, so it actually gives it that movement that goes on in a quilt that we all like so much, so we don't get bored.
So much fun. All right, let me get you the kit information on this. It is called Mermaid Dreams, and it is our Sweet Times pattern from the Easy Peasy book.
Garden Path is a generous 45 by 63, and it's really cool is you can use directional fabric in this spot for the number 1 fabric. And when you get this put together, it looks like the big blocks are floating in this great diagonal movement that's going up the block. It's just so much fun to look at as well to make. So let's put it on the table and I'll show you how to make those blocks. First of all, of course, as we always say, the easiest thing to do is that square that we put into a lot of our quilts to give it that little interest for our focus, because we love showing off those focus
There's no
fabrics.
seams to match when you put this block
There's
together.
none whatsoever.
It's just a square. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I love it. You know, you start, that's your base, your number 1 block that you're going to make. And then we're going to do a strip piece block right here. And it also is very simple to do. We're going to start off with a strip of fabric, or in this case, it looks like a rectangle.
Yep.
So we made a square, now we're going to make a rectangle. Then we're going to do strip assemblies where we just sew long pieces of fabric together, and then we're going to cut off these units from that big strip piece. And then the cool thing is we're going to put that same strip piece over here. So you're only doing one strip piece. You cut it, you make your units, and then that gets flipped and goes on the other side. So super easy to do.
It really is super easy to do.
And do we have some great fabric? Just as Fran said, we like to give you lots of variety because you never know exactly where these quilts are going to go when you donate them. And somebody might come in and say, I really need something for a little boy, or I really need something for a little girl. So we make lots of different ones.
Yeah.
These dinosaurs are awesome.
I love these dinosaurs. The colors are beautiful, and that's on that great blue.
So these are great, and they're going to go every place that you see these blocks. So we're going to take advantage of this super print with all of these dinosaurs on it. Then our number 2, I love this. It has a nice big space here where we're showing off the number 2. And so you have all of these relics.
It's so cool.
Yes.
And it's a tone-on-tone texture, so you can still see it, but it really, it keeps it a little bit simpler and more of a texture, even though you can really see all of the dinosaurs.
Right.
So I think it's very cool, and it matches our focus so well.
So perfectly. And so that's going to go everywhere we have our number 2 fabric. Our number 3 is this great dot. Isn't that awesome? Look at that with that number 1. It is so cool. Every color that's in this is going to be in that number 3 fabric. And then that number 3 fabric is going to be everywhere you see the pink on this quilt. And it is a smaller print, and as you can see, it gives you 2 kind of larger print, but we're getting that contrast with color as well as the variation of the size of the print and those. So you get contrast in color and in scale.
That's perfect.
Which makes it really interesting to look at. I love the way this one looks.
Oh, it is so good. That big block really shows off all those dinosaurs.
And look how that number 2 looks. It just has so much interest in it as well.
It really,
so you
really
can
does.
really see those dinosaurs. It's kind of a reflection of the big ones and the big blocks.
And the border's great because it's got the number 3 on the border with all those colors and the polka dot, which is awesome, and those corner blocks.
Now this kit is called Dino Squad, and it's the garden path pattern from Fast and Fun. Now there's another great organization to donate quilts to, and it's called Quilts For Kids.
So let's learn a little bit more about it from the founder of the organization.
I'm Linda REA. I am the founder of the organization quiltsforkids.org. I was an interior designer who was really tired of all the waste in the industry and started this nonprofit as a way of repurposing cottons into quilts that would comfort children in need. This is our holding room, and it truly is a magical room because it empties out. I used to get worried that it wouldn't fill back up again. Then miraculously, UPS, FedEx, and the post office come with truckloads of boxes from all of you who make beautiful quilts out of your own fabric. Our number 1 need right now is teenage boys. So if you're holding on to some batiks, please know that you can put them into a quilt that will comfort a child in need. So we start with juvenile quilts. You can see how simple some of the designs are. Because we work with children from birth through age 22 who have life-threatening illnesses, abuse, poverty, you name it, we need them. They need us, and they need you because they need your quilts. We have quilts for an older group of people. These were made from discontinued fabric samples. We have saved many millions of pounds of fabric from landfill and repurposed it into quilts that comfort children in need. If you're sitting on a hoard of brightly colored, kid-oriented, or pastel fabrics and you're not sewing anymore or you don't know what to do with it, send it to us. If it's yardage, we will put it into a quilt kit that will be sent out to a volunteer and made into a quilt to help a child somewhere. We have what we call Heels on the Ground, where our volunteers, who might be a chapter, you could check in your community to see if there's a local chapter. What we do is we contact them because they know their area best and they know where people are staying that are in shelters after a flood or a fire. And we get them the quilts and they hand them out. Thank you for using your talent for something as wonderful as helping a child who needs a cuddle tonight.
It's so wonderful learning about how we as quilters can comfort someone in need.
If you would like to learn more about Quilts for Kids, then be sure to check out their link in the video description. Now this is our Bold Blocks quilt. It is 47 inches by 60 inches. And we wanted a pattern that maybe would be great for a teenager. And we think this one would be perfect because it kind of has a modern twist to it. It is a block that is bordered on two sides. And what's really great is that on this row, they're bordered on the other two sides, which is kind of cool. Now this big space here will take a large print and a directional print. So that's great. It really helps you choose fabric so much easier. And look at this fabric.
Oh, it's awesome.
This is so pretty. We have all of these Panda all in the middle of the garden with all of these different color flowers. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait to share the image with you. Now we've paired it with our number 2, which is like a light beige. So it picks up all of the beiges in the Pandas and their fur there, and in the background colors, really, really pretty. It's gonna go everywhere you see the green on this quilt. Then our number 3 is gonna give us our pop there. We've picked up the green. It's a really nice texture. That's gonna be our little bits here on the sides and the bottom there, and then a little on the border. Really think it's gonna give it that extra anchor and really help highlight those pandas. I love the Pandas.
Oh, those Pandas, they have the sweetest faces.
they
And look at
really
all
do.
of those Panda faces looking back at us.
They're so great.
Awesome.
And the green just, it borders it so beautifully and really kind of draws your eye into that focus fabric, which I
That's
think
a
is
perfect
good.
frame for that.
And in this image, you can really see how the blocks are offset. So with the fabric sewn on one side and then the fabric sewn on the other side, and it just kind of goes back and forth. It's very neat.
Love it.
Very good. All right, let's get you the kit information on this. It's called Panda Paradise. It's our Bold Blocks pattern from the book Pretty Darn Quick.
Now, Simply Strips is a quilt that's 44.5 by 61, so it's a really nice size. And this pattern works great if you're working with either batiks or smaller prints because your pieces are a little bit smaller. It is a 1-block quilt, and all you have to do to make those blocks is to create strip assemblies and then cut them into your blocks. It's that simple. You rotate the blocks so that you get this great staggered look. One row goes one way, you flip that row over, and it's going the other way. So let's put it on the table and look at some great fabric we have for this one. So what we did for this one is we kind of directed it maybe more like a teenage boy. So we went with a nice denim textured batik. And I especially like this one. It has kind of a stripe to it that's not real definite. It's a real artsy looking stripe.
It really is.
Yeah, I really like that. And it won't be hard to match up in this particular quilt because nowhere does the focus fabric hit another focus fabric so that you have to match up any stripes or anything like that.
Such a great point.
We're making it easy for you.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And if you look, you'll see that our number 2 also has that kind of mottled look to it. So it kind of matches up with the
texture kind of has a similar feel.
It does. And it gives it a little more brightness having that light. Yeah. It's going to go everywhere you see the number 2 fabric over here. And then to finish this off, we've added that pop of color with the dark blue, and it gives you the grounding for the quilt, and it looks so good. It is a mottled kind of a blue here, so it's going to go along with the mottled in that number 1 fabric. I'm not a teenage boy, but I like it.
Yeah,
a lot.
It is really gorgeous. So the focus fabric has like the largest piece. Then the number 2 has the medium piece, and the fabric 3 has the smallest piece. I like the way that that in itself balances the fabric really well across the surface of the quilt. And then it's all framed with the number 3, and it's just perfect.
And it is so easy to make that block, as I explained.
Oh my goodness.
With just strip piecing, and voila, your block is all finished. And the kit information on this one is, the name is Blue Steel, and it's the Simply Strips pattern from Quilt Favorites. We know that quilters have very big hearts, and we're so grateful that our patterns can help you do what you love best. Give comfort in the form of a quilt.
And if you would like to learn more about even more quilts that are so fast you can make the top in a day, then be sure to watch the video that pops up. Thank you for quilting.